Hey, morning guys, welcome to day 4 of week 4 of the Guildford City Fitness live stream for the older age groups. Hope you all enjoyed watching Kate's discussion yesterday around motivation and goal setting. Some really cool tips that you can take on board there. I'm going to cover a few of them at the end of the video again as well. But just to remind you, if you haven't yet, to go on the YouTube and have a look at that. We're going to go into warm-up number 3 to begin today's session, and then I'll do the usual explain and demo as we go through. So to begin today's one, we're going to make sure the warm-up area is clear, everything's out of the way. The only kit you're going to need for the whole session is going to be a chair or something to do rear foot elevated squats. Everything else, just a cushion, maybe for your knees and your hands. So starting the warm-up with 6 reps of bent knee iron cross. So down on the ground, arms out. And then pretty much like when you do a straight leg iron cross for the cool down, start to change your hip and knee position if you want to feel it in different places. So if you straighten your legs out, you'll probably feel it more up in your lower back. So I'm just going to go 3 on each side. And into dead bugs, so staying down, go single arm and leg, so it's more of a core control. Out slow. And 3 on each side. Just time yourself for a good 2 seconds out, and then quick back. And Spider-Man lunge, haven't done this for a while, but you're just going to get into a nice long lunge position, try and get your lead elbow under your lead knee, push your hips forward, then switch. So again, it's all about making sure you've got a nice straight back and you get as low to the ground as you can. Not looking too bad today. Again, it's 3 on each side. Again, always making sure that if you're trying to get lower, it's not because you rounded your back. So then we're going to go a little bit of jogging. So up on your feet, jogging in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Again, performance squad, if you remember when we did IM skipping as part of the warm-up, sometimes you can start using these jogging segments to go through some of that, whether you've got a rope or not. So relax that for now. Then into windmill. So we're going to do it standing up. And step with your hands over your head in a wide position. You're going to go left hand down to right knee. Straight back. Into the middle again. And then you're just reaching down, trying to get your wrist below your knee. Making sure that you keep your back straight the whole time. So if you get more range, it's from stretching your hamstrings, but you're also then adding in that upper body rotational bit. If you want to get some more, put your hand on the outside and just start to pull yourself through. Again, try and as you go through it, get your hand a bit lower, see if you can get down to your ankle. Okay, then you're going to walk out and downward dog. I've done this in a while here. So walk yourself out and then push your head through your elbows. So you're down. Look at push-up plank. Hips in the air, legs straight. Back to normal. So you can go for 6 of these. Keep your shoulders down so you keep that stretch on your hamstrings. Again, keep going through, but when you're in the downward dog, make sure you're pushing your hands into the carpet. So hips are up, but I'm deliberately pushing my hands diagonally away from me. Okay, should have done about 6 by now. Then we're going to go into another bit of jogging. So 2, 1, go. Then mix it up. A bit longer. And then stop. And then you've got prone or IYTWs. So this time down on your face with a cushion. Again, this just makes it harder because you can get a bit more range by pushing without the floor getting in your way. So head on the cushion, IYTW, but with your wrists and elbows as far from the floor as you can get them. Again, just try to take 2 seconds to go out to each end point. So start 1, 2. Let's go for 3 of each position. Relax. And then a minute of jogging to finish off. So again, 3, 2, 1, and go. So you got a minute. So we've got about 15 seconds of each of the different stroke skips. Today not so fussed about the I am order, just make sure you're getting practice on all of them. If you have a rope and plenty of room, feel free to go with it. Almost there. And then stop. So grab your drink while I go through part 1. It's going to be a full 4 exercises of just static core control. So you're going to start off with left straight arm plank, into press up plank, into right straight arm plank, and then finish off with shoulder taps. So in practice, means you get a bit more rest between the side planks, but it still means that for the whole 3 3/4 minutes, you're going to be emphasizing just holding your whole body still and incorporating a bit of anti-rotation while you're tired. So it's going to be a pretty challenging set, and obviously part 2 is going to be all lower body focused as well. So you're going to make sure you get plenty of drink before you get going, and just be mindful with all the side planking that if you have to drop down to forearm or find an alternative, that's fine. I'll go through a few of those once we get going. So make sure you've had a drink. Give you another 10 seconds or so. Get ready. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left side. In 3, 2, 1, go. Put feet on something stable. And 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Just making sure that your hips stay flat the whole time. Just at the struggle, spread your feet a bit more, gives you a bit more support. Let's come into 30 seconds. Head neutral. Okay, last 5 seconds. 2, 1, relax. 15 off. Then going into press up plank. Again, there's alternatives to the side plank if your wrist starts to feel weird. In 2, 1, go. So no marching for this one today. The whole point is just to start really trying to develop that anchor from your shoulders down to your hips. So making sure that you're squeezing your hips. So while you're holding that, you shouldn't be just holding on for the end of the exercise. You're actively trying to push your heels down to the ground whilst holding your hips tight. 10 seconds left. 2, 1, relax. Onto the right side. So your feet stabilised. Split apart. Okay. And again in 2, 1, go. So the fact that we've got a lot less movement in this part of today's session is going to mean it's going to be that much harder for you to try and emphasise just this part of your core, which again is where the new format is going to start paying off for you. So 15 seconds left on this one, and then we're going to shoulder taps. So again, if your elbow starts to shake, maybe have a break, and I'll go through alternatives in a second. 2, 1, relax. So then to finish off, you're going shoulder taps. So you've started to fatigue your core a little bit, and then you're going to try and focus on avoiding rotation. 2, 1, go. So if I go head on, let's show what my hips shouldn't be doing. So as you go up, you're going to stay flat. It becomes easier if your hands are together to not do that, especially if you're just going for speed. Hips are going to start to wobble, but you're going to make sure that for every time I do a tap, you don't start to see hip from the side. So I've got 10 seconds left on round 1. Finish on an even number. 2, 1, relax. Okay, so there you go. Round 1 done. Make sure you take a drink, you get a 30-second break. I did start with a minute, but then having gone through it, the session becomes really long and you start to lose that intensity because you're used to doing 8 exercises before you get a proper break. So round 2, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So again, alternatives. If you find that your elbows start to shake, there's a couple of people in Joe's squad that I know struggle with this. So just go forearm. If you start up in this position, as soon as your elbow starts to jump around and you can't stabilise it, go into forearm. But again, just actively think about pushing your elbow down, so it's like you're trying to do that and elbow it. So you get more stability around here. So we should start to make it a little bit easier for those of you that are hypermobile. Let's come to the end of this exercise in 3, 2, 1, relax. Okay, then press up plank. Hit 15 seconds off. And we go again. So 3, 2, 1, go. So in terms of planks, this is probably the easier one, which is why I've deliberately put it in. But because of all the pushing, it does take a bit more shoulder stability because you're higher up off the floor. So if you do start to struggle, you drop into a forearm plank. And while you're here, just pull your elbows down towards you Make sure your shoulders stay evenly stacked so that your upper arm is straight. So you've got 10 seconds left. And again, while you're here, squeeze your hips to get more stability from that area. 2, 1, relax. So onto right side plank again. So again, especially for some of you guys, you could hold those for a couple of minutes if you wanted to. It's important that you don't just hang out. You're trying to get something out of every muscle. 2, 1, go. So again, if you started in a straight arm, try and match the time on both sides so you don't become uneven. So even if you started and you got 10 seconds of this and your elbow started to go haywire, make sure you're trying, if you can, to get a bit closer. But if you're hypermobile and your elbow starts to shake and you bomb out, it's going to take you far longer to recover from that. It's always more important just to drop and stop. And then go to forearm. Stopping again in 3, 2, 1, relax. And then shoulder taps to finish. And then we get another break. So 3, 2, 1, go. So shoulder taps. Nice even contact. And the longer you wait here, so you can almost even do this as a single arm plank. So if you got your feet wide, you want to do 20 seconds of this, and then swap. It's a bit harder, but the point is you're trying to control your shoulders and hips dropping. So it means you're going to get the outcome that you want from this. Alternatively, you go a single leg plank, with 10 seconds left in the round. So even this a little bit easier because there's less movement going on in total, but you're still thinking about holding your hips steady. And relax. So like again, there's a couple of different components to each part of this half of the session. So bear in mind, thinking in terms of goals, what do you need to develop? So if you found that at harder parts of the season, your shoulders start to act up, you start to struggle to recover between rounds, it's maybe worth changing, and you feel a lot of work going on here when you do your plank variations, do some more of the other bits. Use your legs so you've got more time to let them recover instead of overworking them. 3, 2, 1, go. So on to round 3, static core strength. And if you really start to struggle again with your shoulders, just try and do 10 on, 3 seconds off, back in. And again, when you do that deliberately, it becomes quite obvious to people watching around you. The 10 on, a couple of seconds off, you stay organised and straight back in, compared to if you just stop and wait for someone to catch you out and then get you to go again. So last few seconds, 3, 2, 1, relax. Press up plank again. Five seconds off. Go again in 2, 1, go. So again, looking at it, the obvious thing to do would be to go up, down. But again, up, down, you're trying to stop rotations. Here, you're just trying to contract and squeeze everything from here to there as hard as you can. Just going to forearm makes it easier for you. Your plank strength will improve more from that, even if you go 2-3 seconds off. And then go for a really big squeeze. Stop. And then squeeze again. And finish off in 3, 2, 1, stop. So it becomes a bit of an issue. So some people will do weighted planks because putting that weight on makes you think more about squeezing your stomach, but there's no reason why you can't do that without weights. Other plank, 2, 1, go. So again, when you split your feet to make it easier, just make sure that your elbow stays in the middle, so it's even. And again, just make sure it's in the same place as the other side, so not too far forward of your shoulder. So again, have a break, 2, 1, and pop up. So it just makes it obvious that you're trying to concentrate. And then 2, 1, up. So the whole time, your brain's switched on to the task. You're holding that position. 2, 1, relax. So again, you don't need weights to make your muscles work hard. They make it easier, but while you're planking and doing this stuff, if you concentrate on squeezing, you get the same stimulus to your muscles. 2, 1, go. So again, alternatives, you can go a full arm. This is much harder, but taking your elbow up. We're going to go in foot. Just when you go with feet, you're trying to make sure that your heel doesn't come higher than your hip. With ours in that plank now, that's all you need. It's easier to use your hips if you pull your toes up, rather than if you do this. The higher you go, one, the more you lose that motor skill. We're trying to recognise where your foot is in space. 2, once your heel goes above your hip, your lower back starts to arch, which stretches these muscles out. 2, 1, and then relax. So if you look at that, compared to this, those muscles stretch. When a muscle stretch, you can't squeeze it deliberately, so you won't gain any adaptation and strength in the muscles that you want. So that's the end of round 3. Grab yourself a drink, have a 1.5-minute rest before we go on to part 2, which is going to be a lower body blowout, essentially. So you've got 45 seconds of wall sit. So you're going to find yourself a bit of wall. Try and sit down into parallel. Lower back flat against the wall, so again, side on view. Priority, start here, nothing getting through there. 45 seconds, then you're going to grab your chair, do your single leg squats. So you guys have got 45 seconds on each side. So again, for safety, normally I like to have my toes up so you can push evenly, but I find it easier to just leave that back foot as a support point. So here, hop up and down, wherever your foot lands, that's probably where it should be. So in other words, if you go too far forward, you'll have to lean, which is not what you want. You want to be up tall here. So you can go straight to the ground like this. So 45 seconds of that. Switch sides. Normally what I do when I finish, leave that foot where it is, recover this foot so it's side by side, and then you switch so that it's in the same place. So it might feel a bit weird, but at least you know they're in the same and you can work on it. 45 seconds here, and then 45 seconds of squat jumps. So again, your options are a little bit longer than the rest. You can alternate from this, catch and fall to the next one. You could do half the round, concentrating on just taking a knee, jumping as high as you can. I'll go through some others when we get to that point. Last chance for a drink. Then we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Wall sit. Make sure your heels are under your knees. And make sure the bottom of your hip is in line with the bottom of your knee. So again, if you've got someone that you can talk to distract you, it makes it a lot easier. If you've got someone you can pass a ball to and from, that also makes it a lot easier. What you don't want to do is have your hands on your knees. But try and think to get the most out of it. You want to squeeze your heels into the floor, almost like you're trying to push the floor away like that. You're going to really start to feel that burn in your quads a bit more. Again, the point here is you're trying to make them tired for these exercises so you gain more from them. Relax. So then you're going to go into single leg squats. I'm going to base it on which leg to make it easier for you to see. So 3, 2, 1, go. If you stay tall, it's almost like it's replicating a hip stretch on this side, which I'll show you in a second. So you go down, control it. In fact, if you go down slowly, you'll start to feel a lot of work being done on your back leg. About 25 seconds in, just make sure you're getting all the way down. Touch the ground if you can, and then push up. If you try to push that foot through the ground, and drive, but don't touch your knee. Last 5 seconds before we switch. 2, 1, relax. So bring your feet to match each other. Try to find the seat. Again, if it feels weird, you'll have to readjust it. But if it feels like it's too far for you to get to, I might just have to say, let you know that you've got a bit of an imbalance in your mobility. 2, 1, go. So again, make sure your lean is even, so you don't go from one doing it perfect to then start to fall forwards, because it's easier. Lean back, control your reps. If you find you can't get as far, just go as low as you can. So down to there, that's fine. Maybe pause, let's get to that range, wait a second or two, and then push, and then relax. So your quads are really going to be burning up. Again, that pause, it's going to be harder, but it'll start to teach your body that that range is safe, and then you'll find that you can get a bit further as time goes on. 2, 1, go. So again, options alternate, or you could go one leg, so down, jump and land evenly. Make sure you get to the halfway mark, switch sides, foot down. Best way to do these squat jumps well is take the knee, make sure your back foot's in the floor, and then that way you can just focus on jumping as high as you can. Stopping in 3, 2, 1, relax. 30 seconds off. That's round 1 of part 2 today. And 15 seconds of break left. Again, this session is very quad dominant, and then at the end, you've got to try and take that fatigue, put it aside, and then try and develop some really good power with the jumps. So 2, 1, go. So if you do start to struggle, just let your feet drift away a little bit, and then hold that same position rather than rising. So it's better to be at that height with your feet away than it is to come up. Although you might find that it starts to burn different parts of your leg. So the closer to a straight leg you get, the more you start to feel it at the side of your knee here on that muscle. So 10, 15 seconds left. Okay, 3, 2, 1, relax. Into your single leg squats. I'm going to go with first, that one. Okay, 5 seconds. Foot up. Make sure you've hopped. Find your space. And then go. So again, much better to find that range at the bottom and then push than it is just to kind of bounce up and down, do quarter reps. None of those count. You want every part of the muscle to develop so that it has an impact on other skills. If you do partial range of motion, it's just going to make you better at that little range of motion. So 10 seconds before we switch. Three, two, one, relax. So again, keep your feet where they are. So keep both feet where the lead leg was before. Then try to find where your seat is. And then 2, 1, go. That hopping seems a bit counterintuitive, but it's the best way to figure out where your feet should be based on your anatomy. So people with different mobility needs, different leg lengths are going to need different positioning. And again, if that starts to get too challenging, you can just go for normal split squats and switch. But I think for most people in the club have maybe got some level of imbalance. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, relax. So I actually found that much easier on the second round to find range because my brain and body is adapted to it than the split squats. And you will only ever make sure that the chair is about knee height. 2, 1, go. So knee, jump as high as you can. You can try alternating for the full round. So this will be how I progress, going single leg for half and then other leg for half. Because you're then practicing that switch skill. So one side, try and cut down your rest. 10 seconds left. Knee, and then jump. So load it, relax. So then you're increasing that time constraint. So from this where you've got limited stability, high up off the floor, you drop and drive. Every time you do it, your feet will start to get more comfortable with where they need to be. So, last round, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. If you get to a point where you cannot hold it, stop and take 2 seconds off, 2, straight back in. The point is, the longer you sit here, the more lactate you're going to build up in your quads. And if you take time off for too long, it'll go away, your body will flush it out, you won't get the adaptation you need. So you got 10 seconds left in this round. Just remember, for every break you take, you get less out of the exercise. 3, 2, 1, relax. So it's horrible today, and then pretty much even the next session you go through, you'll find it becomes a lot easier. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Again, the main thing with single leg work, you've got full control of your knee and hip. So you want to make sure that your shoulder doesn't lean over, and you want to make sure that this knee doesn't move as you go down. Again, if it does, go as low as you can while controlling it, and then push to that front heel. I've been talking too much, but try and make sure you keep a count of how many you do each time. 2, 1, relax. So you want to try and make sure you get an even number each time, or if you don't, so the next time you try it, you get more reps done. So, 3, just did that one. 2, 1, and off we go. I think if you think about imbalances, no matter how you push, I know you guys don't do a lot of single leg pushing, but when you push through both legs, it's going to have an impact on your steering. So when you try and push off a wall or jump high, if one leg's not as strong as the other, you might find you push off unevenly. And considering whenever you do push off, whether it's a wall, whether you're doing a jump, whether it's on the blocks, you're going in a specific direction. You need to make sure that effort from each foot is equal to make sure you go the way you want. Relax. So here we go. Last round of split squats. For sure I didn't forget anything today. Well, please Michelle, let me know if I did and I'll make it up. 2, 1, go. So last round. More important again, because you're doing jumps, that each jump is as high as you can get it. So switch sides. Rather than trying to maintain a number of jumps and they end up being like this, where you just sort of stand up and don't leave the floor, it's much better to concentrate your mind and then push as hard as you can. So again, if you only do a few of them, but it's a proper jump. 2, 1. The intensity of that impulse going from your brain to your muscles is what's going to be key to the adaptation you want, especially for sprinters. I think there's nothing you do in competition that's kind of slow, and there's no real pacing to it. You just shouldn't be pacing anything explosive or jumpy. Even though it might not look like you're doing as much work mechanically, if you do, I don't know, if you did 20 jumps in that 45 seconds, but they were sort of like this, that's nothing compared to a couple of really good jumps we actually leave the floor. So make sure you got your breath back. Make sure you've had a drink. And then we're going to go through a vertical quad stretch, which again, counterintuitively, will start to make this recovery a bit harder because you are constricting blood vessels. But it's not such a bad thing because you'll get more out of it. And it's just maintaining routine, which as we know is very important. It means that you'll get to learn how your quads feel after this session compared to other ones. And you can start adapting your strategies. So that's enough for this side. So again, in terms of that goal setting stuff that Kate set, if I try and relate that now, just to save you time at the end, you're going to make them, so SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant or relatable, and then time dependent, or time pressured. So hamstring stretch. So if your goal, so we're trying to make it a bit swim specific, if your goal was to improve your starts and you spoke to your coach and your coach said you look great on the blocks, your position was fine, and your dive was good, so if we can control all those little elements and decided that technically it was very good, but you just weren't that strong, you weren't getting very far. Okay, switch feet. Okay, I'm deliberately oversimplifying this to make like an easy point that I can help with in these videos. And we found out that your entry was great, your underwaters were great, but you just weren't getting as far into the water as other people, as close to the flags. You might start to think, well, you look at your jump on land, if it's not very good, that you want to start working on that sort of stuff. So you know it's specific because you want to try and improve your block starts, your entry point into the water. So that's specific. Is it measurable? We're going to go into hip stretch now. So we're going to do the step across stretch. So you go left foot across to stretch your right hip. Where did I get to? Measurable. Is it measurable? Yeah. Because someone can eyeball it. They'll tell you whether you're getting far enough. You could set, we could set tape up to see how far you get on entry. And then, I guess in terms of land, that's why you did the jumps yesterday. Because there's some research that says that if you jump well on land, it will have an impact. in terms of how hard you push the blocks, how quick you push the blocks, and how far you get into the water. It's quite a lot of cool work that's come out of British swimming that suggests that, and they have ways of measuring it. Okay, right, so it's measurable. So, you know, if you do get better at one, you increase your potential to get better at the other one. Is it achievable? Hip into lap. So, is it achievable? Potentially, have you got the, so achievability means have you got the resources? So you've got access to me, the club runs land training sessions, you've got coaches around you can ask for advice, and obviously you wouldn't be here if you didn't have any potential, so in theory it should be achievable, otherwise we wouldn't suggest it. If you decided that you wanted to jump past the flags off the blocks, that's probably not so achievable. So it's about creating that frame to operate within. Relevant. So that one I struggle with because I don't see why you go through the first steps if it wasn't going to be relatable or relevant. So it's probably relevant. I guess it becomes about what is it relevant to? Is it relevant to you winning more or being more effective in competition? Yeah, potentially, if you jump better. Chest stretch. If your entry off the blocks is better and you're a sprinter, you've got more potential. So it becomes more relevant, I suppose, than if you're a distance swimmer, because there's that entry point takes up a smaller percentage of your total race. And then time dependent. I guess ultimately for you guys it would be about getting it by your peak meet. So if it was going to take 4 years to improve that outcome, it means something else has gone wrong along the way. You might have to look at something a bit more, something you could get in the meantime that might lead towards that outcome. So that's where the specificity comes in. Switch sides, last bit. So again, that's just my oversimplified example of how you can use that framework to try and develop a way of you achieving a goal that you might have. Of course, the exact opposite would exist for someone that's really athletic. You know, can jump well, is really fit, but has no technical ability. That then becomes about sitting down with a coach and going through it that way. But the point is, you should always be working on something in the water. I guess at the stage that everyone watching this video is, there's always going to be something that you could be working on. And even having that written down, it might be demotivating for some because if it's written down, you can't get away with not trying it. But the fact that it is written down means that other people can help you and you can ask the right questions, so you're not just drifting through your training. And that's kind of what we've gone for with these sessions. We're trying to make it all about general athleticism and just keeping you fit and happy and healthy, so that when we get to May and start looking to getting back into the water, we can start hitting the ground running and start trying to get those things in process. Again, a lot of that was explained probably a lot more concisely by Kate than me, so I would definitely recommend going on the YouTube, having a look. It'll all be up there now. And that's going to do for me today. No demonstrations needed. So have a great day. Make sure you do any extra cool lines you need to. And from everyone else at Guildford City to parents, swimmers and people around the world, have a great day.